Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Josh Thomas here from the Bit Block, and I am joined by one of my favorite people in the gaming world, and I'm not just saying that, Mr. Jonathan Holmes.
Ah, thanks, Josh. The feeling is so mutual. I feel as though we have been brothers in telling people that Skyward Sword has good controls.
Listen, that is a
5
fight.
Years now.
That is a fight I am more than happy to always fight.
Indeed, and you have asked me to be on this thing today, impromptu.
Yes.
And I'm flattered and touched to be here. I am actually feeding my 7-month-old baby son as we're doing this, so he may chime in with or dob 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 at any second. So if you hear that, it may be me being shocked at how smart and good you are, Josh. Or
I don't think it's going to be that. It won't be that.
You are shockingly good, in my opinion. So, yes, you invited me on today to talk about the rumor that the next Zelda for NX or Wii U and or people don't know yet, it may give us the option to choose between a male Link or a female Link. And even right there, I could tell that just the words male Link or, you were like, what do you mean or? Link is a guy. He is a guy named Link.
That's the way I feel. Yeah. And, so let's talk about. So here's the first thing I think we should probably go through, because I might surprise you here with a second part of this. Let's first talk about this. Let's set up a scenario. And of course, these are rumors, and I should probably point out this is a rumor that's coming from Emily Rogers, as far as I'm aware. And she's been pretty accurate with a lot of the rumors. You know, I think she's great, and she's had a lot of things correct in the past. So there is some weight to this rumor for the most part, I feel. But let's start off by saying, let's set up a scenario. How would you feel, Mr. Jonathan Holmes, if this next Zelda game, pretty much right when you started, it's like, listen, what do you want to be? You want to be a boy or you want to be a girl? And then, depending on what you picked, you will just be that version of a Link character. So essentially, like a sort of a gender-swapped Link. How do you feel about that situation?
Well, I would definitely choose the woman Link right off the bat. But I have been a chooser of woman avatars for a while. Like the first time they gave you the option to do that in Pokemon, I took it. I did it in Splatoon. I think I did it in Fire Emblem, but I never finished those games because they just took so long. I don't know why that is. It may be because I'm just attracted to women. Like I just like them. So I'm like, if I get to look at a woman some more, I know that's not necessarily the most politically correct response, but it's actually, I think, relatively common. One person on Destructoid.com, place I still work now and again, was very angry at the idea of a female Link because they just lust after men. And they were like, less sexy guy to see in a video game. And there's a lot of ugly guys in video games, they tell me, but Link and like Nathan Drake are two of the cute ones. So for some people, it's just a bad idea because the Link they know and love would not be as attractive to them sexually or otherwise. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Okay, yeah, that is definitely a point I never actually thought. See, for me, I'm very, even though Mr. Miyamoto and Mr. Aonuma would probably disagree with this, and obviously they know more than me about this subject, I feel Link is a character. I feel that he started out maybe as an avatar in their head back in the NES days, but I feel that with like 30 years of games, I do feel that he, for me personally, has defined himself as a character every bit as much as Samus or Mario or Captain Falcon with his glorious nipple things on his costume.
So for you, it would be
he's
like
a character.
If the next Captain Falcon was a woman and they just didn't explain it and they didn't say it was like his daughter wearing his costume or something.
Right.
If there was no in-story canon explanation, it would seem like, how would it seem to you? What would you, how would it, not only would it seem wrong or untrue, what would feel bad about it for you?
Well, so for me, I never want people to feel excluded in a game. I am absolutely, I mean, back in the Wii days, I loved that because more and more people were able to enjoy games. I'm always in favor of that. But for me, I think it would be treating Link as though he's not a character, and I think it would be kind of treating Link as though he's just sort of an avatar. And I really don't feel he is. I mean, to me, it's almost like if Nintendo really wants Link to feel like the person playing, and they really want the player to feel like they are that character, they might as well just make Mii's be the playable character. I mean, obviously, I think people would say, well, that's ridiculous because the Mii art style is vastly different than Zelda, but they can make a Zelda game that kind of meets it halfway as far as the art style goes. And I mean, they could do stuff to where they take your Mii and transform it into a Zelda-looking character even.
Sure.
So I feel like
they did lead with the Wii U. They led with Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
Saying, like, why don't we just kind of make a bunch of our games, but have them star Mii's? That'll make you happy, right? And it totally didn't. People were not excited about that.
So yeah, gender-swapped Link wouldn't sit right with me personally, and I do feel like that would be a weird little spot on the Zelda franchise, and I don't know, it would make me feel like Link wasn't that important, and like I said, Link to me is definitely a character. Right. However... before people think I'm the worst, most sexist person in the world for whatever reason, I will say, if there is an option to play as a female character that is not just gender-swapped Link, and Link, I would love that. That would be amazing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, is if, let's say, when you choose your character and you choose the male avatar, the male character, and you set the default name, it's Link, and you feel like that's solid, but they gave you the option to choose a woman character, and it auto-defaulted to Linkle, who's technically a different person, I guess. Like, this is just speaks to how Nintendo wants to have it both ways on this so badly, because, let's face it, if they manage to have it both ways, they can get more money. They can draw in the audience who wants to play as a specific character and truly embody the life of another person, and they can get the audience of people who just want a faceless avatar, because it is slightly different audiences, and I do think Nintendo has tried to play it both ways for a long time, with being very vague about the Zelda timeline for years and years, until they found a way to make a bunch of money off the Zelda timeline by sticking it in a book. So all of a sudden, like, pretty much a fan theory became canon, and they said, "Oh yeah, we were planning this the whole time." But in the interviews I see with Nintendo in general, it doesn't seem like having a hard fixed story means a lot to them. They see the story as serving whatever scenario and art direction and gameplay mechanics they want to stick in at the time, and the story is often kind of an afterthought, and that includes character. So the way I see they have treated Link, it's if you want to think of him as a character, and you will buy their games if you think of it that way, they will allow you to think of it that way. However, if you want to think of him as just an avatar, they've said, okay, if you buy our games, you can think of him that way too. Whatever gets you to buy our games, we're good with, is how it looks to me. I hope I don't sound super cynical.
You sound so cynical right now.
Well, the thing is, I am, Josh, I was once a young, handsome man with a full head of hair.
You still
just
are.
Like you. Well, no, I am not, but thank you. There was a day when I was young and filled with passion and hope and belief in video game canon, and I felt invested in it. And then Mega Man X5 happened. You heard of that video game?
I have not, no.
Listen, okay, so Mega Man was like the game series for me growing up. I believed it was, I pretended I was Mega Man running around. Like, it was reality to me. I couldn't wait for it to be real someday. And then Mega Man X5 came out, and all of the bosses were named after members of Guns N' Roses. And it just completely destroyed suspension of disbelief for me. It made me feel as though the video game developers were trying to destroy my dreams. Like, they were single-handedly coming into my house and just saying, hey, you know that thing you like? Actually, it's Guns N' Roses now. Sorry. And just walked out. So ever since then, and I'm kidding around, but it's true that at the age I'm at now, I've been burned so many times by game developers taking, like, what I thought of as canon, like how Link being a male is canon, and then just totally screwing with it because they, had a funny time talking about it in a business meeting or something, and just completely alter the course of a game series on a whim, or because they thought it would make them more money in focus testing or something. I have become cynical because of those kinds of decisions. So when I see Nintendo doing this, I just think like, oh yeah, they're hoping to make more money, so they'll do it this way this time. The Zelda series in general, I feel like, has been kind of chasing its audience for a while instead of leading it. And whenever they think we'll make more money with the series, they'll bend in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and that's one of the things I find myself doing a lot with video games these days, is I have so much passion for it. Whenever, like, I feel that they're just missing the point, it just kind of frustrates me, basically like your Guns N' Roses thing. I feel like I'm reaching that point that you reached years ago.
And I'm excited, as a fan of your work, I'm excited to see how you will be able to use that frustration to create really awesome stuff. Make believe.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm just doing stuff that I want to see, but making it fake, and it's like a nice.
It's all the same. You know, I talk to game developers on a talk show called Holmes every week, and I would say 90% of them, like the best ones, they say, "Oh yeah, I loved Zelda, but then it started to suck, so I made Hyper Light Drifter," or you know, I loved Metal Gear, but I got bored of it, or I got frustrated, so I made X, Y, or Z game. It's out of loving games, but then being like pained to see them, like you'd be pained with a family member if they like suddenly started dating a crack dealer or something.
Right, exactly.
Like, you want to like shape them up and turn them around. Passion can be driven from that kind of pain, and it makes you make great stuff. So
the problem is, I have a terrible way of representing myself on social media when I get frustrated with ideas.
Well, you know, it helps as one of your fans. It definitely helps to know your tone.
Right.
And when I read one of your tweets that's like short,
yeah,
saying like Nintendo basically just carved my heart up and ate it or something. Like I know that you're able to smile about it at the same time.
Right.
Oh, my son just chugged 6 ounces of milk like so fast, and now he's up and ready to rock. I don't know how much longer we can go. But the question I asked before, sorry to go so tangential.
No, I think it's all, that still was on topic with what's going on.
Was it? Oh, that's kind of neat.
I think so.
But before, I do want to ask you, as a fan whose opinion I respect, if they auto made it so the female version of Link was not in fact Link, if it was in canon a different character, so you can choose between Link or Linkle, and they have like different stories, like how I think they might have split up Commander Shepard in Mass Effect. I kind of think they did in the canon stories that they told in separate media. Or like in Resident Evil, how you can choose Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine in the original game. And depending on which character you choose, the game has a slightly different story, but if you're to look at the canon later, it's only certain events that happen in both their stories that actually occurred. So how would you feel about that, if they went about it that way?
Right, so I mean, that is, I absolutely applaud. I would love that. I mean, that's like you get to play the game twice and get to enjoy it twice. I mean, so my only complaint, I should probably try to make this as clear as possible because I know I'm going to get crap anyways, but I am in no way against the idea of having like a female lead in any game, and especially The Legend of Zelda, but I just want that female character to be somebody that's cool, that is their own thing, that is interesting, and I don't just want them to be like, oh, you know what, Link isn't a boy, Link doesn't have to be a boy anymore, Link can be a girl, here's girl Link, just pick whatever, just play the game. I want it to be something that feels important, and I want to like that female lead character as much as I love Link as a character.
Sure. That makes perfect sense. And if Nintendo is smart, they will listen to that and make that concession, because even though I wouldn't feel any way about it either way, because I'm burnt and old and don't care
because
anymore.
Of Guns N' Roses?
Basically. Because Mega Man X5, Capcom, and Guns N' Roses. And I do know a lot of people out there, based on principle, want Link to be able to be reincarnated as a woman. You know, I am all for gender equality changes when it comes to other aspects of society and the world, like actual job descriptions and stuff like that. If we want to have more women that are firemen and that sort of thing, yes. When it comes to a fictional video game character, though, who a lot of fans see as a man because that's how he's been depicted for 30 years. My son is making special baby sounds because I'm about to be... Whoa, he really wants to eat the microphone. Yeah, he's going for it. Anyway, yeah, sorry, off point. Yeah, I think there are enough fans like you who would be really sad if they had to break suspension of disbelief on Link being a man, because that's the fiction they've built up over the years. For me, it's all about who's going to... what decision is going to make the most fans happy.
Right, and that actually brings me to like the last point that I wanted to bring up. Who do you feel makes this happy? Like, who is this going to make happy? Because I think I think The Legend of Zelda is probably one of the most female-friendly series ever. I mean, a lot of characters in the game that you meet and talk to are women, maybe even more than men. And a lot of girls cosplay as Link. In fact, I think most cosplays of Link are females, so they've already kind of embraced that character and love him. So I wonder, like, is there a big enough audience to really care about being a gender-swapped Link?
Well, I do. I think that if they go about it in the way we talked about, where there's a new divergence in the legend, kind of a split, where the hero of time could be, or the hero of legend, I think is actually called, could be Link or Linkle, then people will be good with it. I think some people will feel as though it's a little bit weak of a decision to not go all the way and say Link could be reincarnated as a woman. And I could see that. Like, I would be fine with that. But I know that there are millions of fans who would feel like that kind of defies the myth as they know it today. Because it's kind of an unspoken part of the myth that Link has always been a man. And that's and Nintendo has gone through great lengths to market Link as a character and not as just an avatar, which is why you feel the way you feel. So you can't go back on these years of messaging and then say, oh yeah, we didn't really mean that. It just would ruin it for a lot of people, and I don't want it to get ruined for anybody. So I think the safe decision would be to just do the Link or Linkle option.
Yeah.
And that would please everybody at least a little bit, and it wouldn't be enough for some folks, but it wouldn't completely turn off tons of other people. Just on Twitter, and this is living proof that the fans have spoken on this in a lot of ways. When we were talking about it on Twitter, I saw all these people favoriting your tweets, saying like, Link is a man. That's it. That's what you've told us for years, and this is how they feel. To turn your back on them would be pretty harsh, and financially just might not make the best sense for Nintendo. See how cynical and cold I am?
Yeah, I should have worn a sweater to this chat. But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think we do agree that if they're going to do this, they need to do it right, and they need to make sure that maybe the two characters play differently, and that there's a reason for there to be a female lead other than just trying to please that audience.
Sure. And that's what I was guessing, not to try to read your mind before we talked about it, but I couldn't help but guess that if they did not go about it that way and just had it be Link is not a character anymore, he is just an avatar, that it would take you out of the game to be thinking about how, well, they just did this to please people who are, looking for video games to go in a certain direction, as opposed to just keeping the suspension of disbelief there. Like, it would take you out of the game. You'd be thinking about other people and what they think about the game.
Right.
Instead of just thinking about the game while you're playing it and getting immersed in it.
Right, exactly. That was my feeling, by the way. This is off topic, but not really. That was kind of my feeling when watching Zootopia.
Oh, yeah? I haven't seen it yet.
I like it, but there's definitely like a lot of social commentary that sort of distracted me from just enjoying the film, and I don't really want that to be the case in a Zelda game.
Sure.
I mean, it's a good film, but I just feel like not doing it in a heavy-handed way would be the best way. Hey, there's a cool new character in this Zelda game that you can play as, and, it's like a sort of a girlish version of Link in a way.
Is that how you felt about Linkle in Hyrule Warriors?
Well, I think my problem with Linkle is that damn name. I can't get over that. It's like a parody of Mad TV would do with, like, Linkle.
It's true. I've talked to some folks who worked on that game in some capacity, and the inside scoop is they were not happy with the Linkle name. Like the Treehouse folks were not like, oh yeah, this is a genius idea, Linkle. But they were stuck with it. Nintendo of Japan makes the
I think that's kind of the case in a lot of situations that we might criticize Nintendo of America for.
Yeah. There was actually, after the show's over, let me see if I can find an old chat log of what some of the Linkle's alternate names were. I'm not supposed to tell anybody what they are, but I do have a link of that somewhere. A link of it. Oh.
I'd be interested in seeing that.
Yeah. I think one of them was like Ruby or something. All right, don't quote me on that. Oh, I'm getting people in trouble. Getting people fired. Gotta watch out.
So, I think that's pretty much it. I think we had a good little discussion here about the whole situation. Obviously, it's all rumors, of course, but I think they're coming from a reliable enough source that it's definitely worth chatting about. In closing, like I said, I'm all for a new female character that I can play as. I personally would play as Link first, just because I would want. I mean, I'm stubborn and I look at Link as a character, so I'd want my first impression. I want my first impression with the game to be, oh, this is Link, this is Legend of Zelda. But then I would be like, oh, I beat the game, now I'm done. Wait, no, I'm not. I can play as the other character now. So that would be really
exactly
cool.
what they did with Resident Evil, and it caused people to replay those first couple Resident Evils. I think the Resident Evil 2 you can replay 6 times.
Wow.
Because they just had 2 different characters, one man, one woman, with slightly different loadouts. So that could add a lot of replay if they made the mechanics slightly differently too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, great idea. You gave them, this is the next make-believe right here. You just need to get somebody to animate this whole conversation. It'll be perfect.
Exactly. Well, Mr. Holmes, thank you so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. I will hang up now and then find you those fun secrets.
Sounds awesome. Hey, do you want to let people know where they can find your work? I mean, I'm sure a lot of them
I guess
know,
so.
But...
Yeah, if they want. Destructoid.com, still writing for them. In between Rock and My Son, I'm hopping them right now. Sometimes I get to chill out. I write for Nintendo Force. Yep, Nintendo Force magazine, still going strong on Patreon. You can find us there, subscribe. I think it comes to around... I think it's $5 a month, but you get an issue every other month. So it's about $10 per issue for a print magazine. We're working on a new issue right now. I reviewed the Pokken tournament for that, so that's fun. And Sup Holmes is my weekly podcast talk show for video game developers. And I think that's it.
Sounds good. Yeah, all the links will be for all that stuff in the description below. Once again, thank you so much for chatting with me.
Oh, thank you, Josh. Good talking with you. Talk to you soon.
See ya.